Hey, fool, this ain't no football game.
Emma's a pimp!
Wait until the Reaper takes my life.
Lucky for you, you are right where you need to be. So sit back, relax, and turn up the volume on your streaming device. Johnny Ballgame, Sir Poops-a-Lot, and the Fantasy Reaper are about to deliver humor and fantasy gold at the same time. Crush your opponent with a smile. It's Fantasy Sports Island.
Welcome back, Fantasy Sports Island. Your host, the Fantasy Reaper, is back as the host just for tonight. But I want to thank my main man who's been holding the fort down, John Ballgame.
Hello, Jonathan Ballgame, if you will.
Jonathan Ballgame. How are you, sir?
Couldn't be better. Glad to be here tonight, and happy to have you back hosting for a bit. I like that break. It's nice.
It was a refreshing break for me, but I've reset, and now I'm ready to go. Got more spunk, more attitude. Speaking of attitude, a little poopitude down here. Tony Sir Poops-a-Lot.
Here, yeah, there's something down there. Whole bunch of gross going on. Nothing positive. It's all bad. All right. Good to see you guys.
Hey, Tony, do you got a segment for us tonight called Tony's Toilet Talk?
Yeah, of course. Oh, and I forgot my poop hat.
Oh, no, we got time because we're doing that in a little bit later on the show.
Well,
Yeah, I'll grab it.
We'll make sure you got your poop hat first.
All right.
Yeah.
Guess what time it is, guys?
What's that?
It's playoff time in fantasy football. And this show is dedicated to everyone that made the playoffs. This is the episode you're going to want to watch because we're talking about all the stuff you need to know for your first round of your playoffs. How's that sound?
Good.
It sounds good. Chuck, can I just say a few things real quick?
Absolutely.
Good luck to you, and congratulations to all you who made the playoffs. For those of you who are still playing in these points leagues for the best points, keep playing. Keep putting your lineups in. Don't be that punk that doesn't put your lineup in anymore because you're down towards the bottom. Keep playing. Let's do this.
Absolutely. Have some freaking pride, guys.
Yes. Yes.
For the integrity of your league, play it to the bone, all the way through. I don't care if you're in last. I don't care if you're 800 points behind. Set a lineup. Do some waiver wire transactions if you want. Stay active. You know, and that reminds me, John, in a lot of leagues, we pay for the weekly winners at the end of the season. So each week we pay like $50 if you win the week. That seems to keep people motivated. So I suggest some of you folks out there who are commissioners maybe think about doing something like that. Keep everyone in line, keep them playing.
Yeah, because even if you didn't win or you're not in the playoffs, you still got a shot at $50 every week for the last 4 weeks. You went out, you get $200. You won just as much as second place in our league or head to head or whatever. So
right,
let's go,
Johnny. The sun is shining on you from behind right now. It looks majestic.
It really looks like I'm on the island, doesn't it? I mean, I am, of course, I am.
Yeah.
Hey, John, if people like playoff fantasy football talk, what should they do?
I mean, I would click the like button. If you like it, then like it.
It's that thumb thingy down there, right?
Yeah.
It lights up when you hit it. And that means you liked our show. And what that means for the algorithm is YouTube gets notified that this video is getting likes. And we should put this video out there for more people. That sounds pretty good to me.
I like it. And if you like it, you should like that too.
And Tony wants you to subscribe. Tony, why do you want them to subscribe?
Because it's awesome. It's awesome for everybody. It's a great show, and they're going to get tons of information. And it's going to encourage us to keep giving them an incredible product. That's what it's going to do.
That's right. And realistically, the best reason you want to subscribe is because we do this every week. So why don't you want to know when we put out a new video?
Mm-hmm.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. All right, we need to move on because we got a just fun-filled, packed show tonight, all about the playoffs. Let's start with our news and notes and get that out of the way, Johnny. Sad note, just to begin the show, Mississippi State head coach Mike Leach passed away at the age of 61. For those of you who know who he is probably the funniest coach that has ever donned, on the sidelines of a college football game. He was just a spark of energy. Fantastic lines, one-liners. He was good with the media. John, what does this passing mean to you?
Well, first of all, I mean, he was funny. All the things you just said, true. But what I think gets missed is the guy was a genius. Like a lot of the offensive things that people do in the NFL today, based on college, were all made up by Mike Leach. Like that guy was a brilliant, brilliant coach. So yeah, the football world, when they lose somebody who's got that much knowledge, that much personality and charisma, I think it just affects college, it affects pros, it affects everybody. So yeah, condolences to his family. And yeah, what a bummer, man.
A lot of guys have run through his program and ended up in the NFL. And so that is why we're bringing it up on a NFL fantasy football show, because he's affected the lives of many NFL players that we put in our lineups today. So I just wanted to give Mike Leach some props. My heart goes out to his family, of course. And now let's move on to happier things. Of course, it wasn't happy for Kyler Murray, Johnny. Kyler Murray went down with a non-contact knee injury. We all wondered, did he tear the ACL? Well, Eazy-E did tear the ACL. He's out for the season. No more questions. I mean, Tony, tell me about this. Does as far as for James Conner and other guys, Marquise Brown, perhaps D. Hopkins, how does this affect their fantasy value?
I think it affects them tremendously, just because of the way I know McCoy wasn't quite ready to go in. But they just looked that was a bad game for them all the way around. It might have been that they were just kind of mentally shocked and down. They lost their QB, but they're already not a tremendous team this year. So I worry for the value. I'm excited about the running game. I think they're going to have to run it more. Connor looks good right now, but I worry about those receivers a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Colt McCoy, he's a serviceable backup, but he's a backup for a reason, Johnny.
He is. I mean, but you're right. He is a serviceable backup, and what he does bring to the offense is a little calm and steadiness. I agree with Tony that James Conner actually, I think, is going to be the beneficiary of some of that. I think especially around the goal line and some of that, as get him back into his scoring ways like he used to be. So Conner actually looked as good as I've seen him look all year in that last game. So
he looked excellent. Did you see him drag 4 guys into the end zone from 9 yards out? That was
really impressive.
Fantastic run.
Yeah.
All right. Couple signings in the NFL of ghosts, people that we didn't even know were alive anymore. Cole Beasley came out of retirement to sign back with the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills their offense is anemic right now. They're in need of a slot receiver because Isaiah McKenzie's just not cutting it. Is this a good move? What do you think, Tony? Cole Beasley?
I mean, I don't know how much it's going to hurt the team, but I don't know if it's really that much of a boost. I almost feel like, hey, let's bring him in so we can, light a match under the ass of the other guys that are underperforming right now. But I don't know. He hasn't played in a long time. He's coming right back to when it's cold as hell and a stressful time getting ready for the playoffs. I don't think it's that beneficial, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
Just another added weapon for Josh Allen, and I think he needs it right now because the offense has not looked good. John, T.Y. Hilton has signed with the Dallas Cowboys and not Odell Beckham. So, does this help? First
Pretty
of all,
much the same though, right? I mean, just interchangeable. Just feels about the same. No, I think it's T.Y. Hilton. Because nobody's heard of that guy for 2 years. He's not done anything. So no, I think this was a weird signing, and I'm not even sure that guy stays on the team till the end of the season. So
also, I've heard rumors that Odell Beckham is probably not going to be healthy enough to play this season. I've also heard that he refuses to work out for teams.
Yes.
And who's going to put their money on a guy that refuses to work out for teams coming off an ACL injury when he hasn't touched a ball in over a year? I just don't see it.
I know.
He's only going to go to a contender, right? And
who also says, I don't see the point of playing in the regular season.
Right.
Like, I mean, there's a point. Yeah.
I mean, the owners, when they hear this, they have to cringe. They have to cringe.
Yeah.
If anyone that signs Odell Beckham has to be doing it for the longer term, like next season, because this season, I don't know how much you can get from him.
Do you think Jerry Jones signed T.Y. Hilton just as a way of going, I don't need you, Odell. I don't need you, trying to negotiate with him or scare him into signing some way better deal?
Or just signing him out of spite.
Yeah.
Sure.
And do you guys think Odell's shooting himself in the foot? Because it's going to hurt his reputation. What are the other teams going to do? I'm sure somebody will grab him next year, but I don't know.
think
I don't
someone
like
will
that
grab
attitude.
him. I do think someone will grab him this year with the intent of, signing him to a couple 2-3 year deal just
Yeah.
for next year. I just don't, he hasn't played and now he's not going to work out for you. I mean, it would take him weeks to get up to speed. I mean, it's already playoff time, so.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Deebo Samuel is expected to actually return before the end of the season with a sprained MCL in the knee, and it also sprained his ankle. When we first saw it, we thought, oh boy, torn ACL, he's done. But it was actually pretty good news. He probably won't play for you in the fantasy playoffs, but he should make it back, week 17, week 18, and then gear it for the playoffs. But, John, will he be effective in the playoffs?
Probably not. Right. I mean, even 80% Debo is still pretty good, but I don't know. I don't hold up too high hopes for that. But again, he'll still be back for that. He's not going to help anybody win a championship, but he will, hopefully help the 49ers maybe get far in the playoffs.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in a little while.
Nice. That's what we call a tease in the biz, everybody.
Another tease. All right. Dameon Pierce, John, your boy, will miss at least a week, probably more like 2 to 3 weeks with a high ankle sprain. So, Tony, we all have Dameon Pierce. I'm pretty sure we can write him off for the rest of the fantasy season. I mean, what do we do here? What do you have a pivot from Dameon Pierce?
Just as long as you have Burkhead, you're good to go. I'm kidding. I don't know. It's another huge disappointment just to add to disappointments that have already compounded for the season. I cannot stand when rookies get hurt. Luckily, it's something that's somewhat minor, but it does me no good whatsoever. I have him on like 10 teams. He has slowed a little bit the past few weeks, so I was prepared with some backups, but it sucks. It sucks, dude. It really does.
And I mean, this has been a brutal year for running backs. Like, think of all the guys starting from Javonte Williams to Breece Hall, Ken Walker, Dameon Pierce. I mean, now Ramondre Stevenson gets banged up. I mean, the running back position has been brutalized all year. And let's not forget about Rashad Penny. He was doing well too before he got hurt.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's the NFL, folks. It's the NFL. All right. Speaking of Ken Walker's actually practiced fully the last 2 days, and he is going to play Thursday against the 49ers. But, John, should he?
I'd rest him one more week. I know they're trying to get in the playoffs. I get it. I get where they're going, but I just feel like they're rushing him back. Although wasn't he the one that Pete Carroll said it didn't twist, it compressed? Was that his thing? So I mean, it's possible that it just doesn't hurt as much. Like when you tell me Pierce has a high ankle sprain, I go 3 weeks, like at least 3 weeks minimum. He's probably 4. So I don't know what an ankle jam does. I don't know.
I still don't really get that. Yeah,
I don't either. So I mean, if it's not a twisted and not, all I know is my ankles always go side to side when I twist them. So yeah. Who knows? I mean, maybe he'll be good.
He did come back from a sports hernia or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So he had surgery on that. I mean, shit, I'm still having a problem walking upstairs, and it's been 2 months for me. So, let alone playing football. But and he came out like gangbusters after that. He may have a high pain tolerance. I don't know. He may do well. But it's also the 49ers defense, so that's a little.
That was kind of the thing. I was like, yeah, do you want your first game back on an injury to be against that 49ers defense? That feels rough.
It does. That's what I was getting at. Like, man, that's a brutal matchup to come back to.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Last bit of news. Again, in Buffalo, heavy snow is expected this weekend for a matchup between the Bills and the Dolphins. And by the way, folks, this game is on Saturday. There are 3 games on Saturday, so make sure you set your lineups appropriately. Okay, guys? But what do we think about this game in Buffalo? A lot of things going on here. Josh Allen's been struggling. His wide receivers have been struggling, both of them. Tua's been struggling. Tyreek Hill's coming off an injury, and now we're going to play in some possible sleet and snow and very cold weather in Buffalo. This sounds like a fantasy disaster if you have any of those guys.
Yeah,
for sure. Like I can't. I mean, actually, I think I would play my running backs. I'd get Singletary in there. I'd get maybe even Cook in there. But for the Dolphins, I don't know, man. They're predicated on speed, and I can't imagine one fast thing in a snowstorm in Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm relying on Tyreek. I'm very concerned about that. That is not an easy decision to make. Benching that guy, you would be an absolute moron. The dude recovers a fumble and runs it in for a touchdown.
Ridiculous.
What freaks me out really is that when you look at Waddle, Tyreek, I think Tyreek too, Tua, look at where they grew up. Look at, like Texas, Hawaii, where the colleges, and now they're in Miami, mostly all warm weather. Those guys requested heaters at the Rams game when it was 56 degrees. How are they going to deal?
Wow.
So
Tua's traditionally struggled in cold weather in college and in the NFL. He's had his worst games in the cold weather. So,
yeah.
All right. So we're gearing up. Okay, Tony, toilet talk me, baby. You got your hat?
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Tony's Toilet Talk.
Tony's Toilet Talk. It's your show, Tony. Make us laugh.
All right, I'm going to go right into some nicknames for this Toilet Talk. Let's just get right into it because there's some people that really did the old poop down the leg when I woke up this Monday morning. I want to start with Saquon Shartley. Nice. Awful. The guy killed me. Okay, I'm not going to get into it. We know we're starting the playoffs. We know the stats. I don't need to break it down. We all know it. Do you guys know who Dink and Dunk is? See, I was arguing with somebody, my buddy who lives in Oakland. Dink and Dunk is Derek Carr's nickname. Nobody knows what I mean. So that kind of sounds like a poop gesture, really, but it's kind of more like a drink and drunk kind of. He was terrible. He choked on his own turd. Let's just leave it at that. He sucked. Absolute disappointment. Christian Jerk, 5 for 45. Terrible, terrible, terrible. He poops like every other week, doesn't he? Johnny told me that one. Isn't it every 2 weeks that Christian Jerk does well? Yeah, he's either constipated or shits down his leg. I'm going to give you two duos here. These are the ones I really want to talk about. First one is Cleveland. Lick, rub, and cream cunt. These two guys, they had the worst runs for the Browns.
Wow.
It was brutal. Sorry, I had to say it.
Wow.
They deserve those nicknames. They were horrible, and each one of them had some kind of severe diarrhea of some sort. I don't know. The next one, who I really want to talk about, the next
Chuck is not going to stop laughing for the next 5 minutes.
Sorry, that was brutal. You guys can find me if you want in that one.
You can't find that kind of highbrow humor on other podcasts.
Two brothers, Dalvin Dookie and James Juicy, the Cook brother. I really thought, I know it wasn't ideal for those guys, but those should be. It should be. And James Cook didn't even get any looks, man. That they killed me. It was like what do I have from a double Dookie, a double Deuce, the two turds. Is that good? I think that's kind of funny. How about?
Sure.
I don't know if I got this right. Los dos hermanos caca. Or is it caca hermanos? I don't know because I don't know the Spanish word. Those guys sucked. They broke my heart. Both guys actually screwed up my teams. It hurt. It really hurt in our Yahoo league. Dalvin Cook. I'm sure you were laughing your ass off, Chuck.
Not really. Not really.
And okay, so I want to do a flush for the rest of the season on this guy. Now, this is stupid. Nobody really has them, but I want to go with Foster Manure. And the reason why is because, again, I was forced. Somebody picked him. I read something and I was like, you know what? Instead of trusting my own best judgment, I'm going to put this guy in. I don't have a choice. It was in my Ohio league. And of course he was terrible. Waller's coming back. Don't talk about Manure, dude. The guy sucks. He's not god awful, but again, it's the Raiders. You can't depend on it. Flush him for the season. Don't look back. Waller's coming back. Keep him on your roster. Get rid of Manure. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys this week. That's all I got.
Strong, solid week. Solid week.
Excellent life advice. Get rid of your manure. That's just fantastic advice.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
words to live by. Words to live by.
that's Tony's tips right there.
Tony's toilet tips.
All right.
Waiver wire gems.
Congratulations to you folks that made the playoffs. These next couple segments are all for you. First, we're going to start with our playoff time waiver wire gems. We're going to go over some guys that we think may or may not be valuable in a pickup situation off the waiver wire to help your team through these playoffs, okay? And let's be real, folks. The waiver wire wins you championships in these moments. So now is the time to get the right guy on your waiver wire. So we're going to talk about some of these guys, Johnny. We're going to start with Baker Mayfield, the guy that the Fantasy Reaper put down last week. He actually was terrible most of the game, came through when it mattered most on the last 2 drives. Miraculous comeback, to be honest. I got to give him his props. But do you trust Baker Mayfield? Say you're streaming quarterbacks. Do you trust Baker Mayfield in the playoffs?
No. That's your answer. Do I need more analysis than that?
You do not need more analysis. But what happens if your opponent had Lamar Jackson and then he had Huntley? And I'm talking to you, Royce. And he needs a quarterback. Would you go out and pick up Baker Mayfield just to block him if he's your opponent?
Oh no, I'd let him have Baker Mayfield. I would encourage him to pick up Baker Mayfield. Are you kidding me?
Okay, fair enough.
No, you don't block him. You block like a Trevor Lawrence. You block somebody like that. You don't.
How about Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy is your Niners quarterback going forward the rest of the year, and he is producing at a pretty good rate these last 2 weeks. Do we trust Brock Purdy with a waiver wire pickup for the fantasy playoffs, Tony?
A little more, yeah. I mean, as long as he's healthy, of course. He's a little banged up right now. I like his attitude. I like his demeanor on the field. I like to say it a lot because I like to watch that, that confidence and that maturity. And he seems to get that down pretty well. I worry about, I shouldn't say I worry about the weapons because he's losing Debo temporarily, but he's got so many guys that he can dump the ball off to. I don't know how many yards he's going to put up if he doesn't have Debo. Kittle could step up, Ayuk could step up, so on and so forth. But I think he's going to be giving the ball more to McCaffrey and stuff. So if he's throwing to that guy, sure. But he's a decent option.
Okay. We have 2 guys on the waiver wire here that you probably don't want to play in the playoffs, but you might just need them in a super flex league or a 2 quarterback league. So we're going to discuss them. Desmond Ridder is now the starter in Atlanta. They have Marcus Mariota is going to go to IR, so Desmond Ridder is your quarterback moving forward. And Brett Rippon, it's possible that he will be quarterbacking for the Denver Broncos because Russ Wilson suffered a concussion, a pretty good one last week, so he might be out for a while. John, either of these guys interest you at all?
Rippon a little bit, and I don't know why, but I think this offense underperforms with Russ in there. But even with Russ, they started to kind of pick it up this last week. Jerry Jeudy had a freaking monster game. That group looked like it was starting to pick it up for some reason. And so I don't mind when Rippon comes in, and he has come in a couple times. It doesn't look bad. Looks like a serviceable quarterback. I don't mind that. Who was the other guy you mentioned?
Desmond Ridder in Atlanta.
Rookie. Oh, no, I don't want any part of that. No, zero.
Yeah, the Atlanta offense is very run heavy,
but it's just bad.
Maybe because they have nothing to lose now, maybe they open it up. We'll see. All right.
Yeah, as a Cordell Patterson owner, though, I think it's a bad thing because I think they're going to go completely young. I think Tyler Algiers is going to get more run. I think they're going to see what they've got with the young kids because the season's lost. So
good point.
Yeah.
Okay. How about some running backs? First guy on the list is probably not there, but you need to go check because some people dropped him because of the situation. That's J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins looked pretty good, had a couple nice runs, had a touchdown last week. He is in a timeshare with Gus Edwards, but J.K. Dobbins is the guy they eventually want to be the feature back there, okay? So if you just check the waiver wire because he's not 100% owned out there, guys. So just make sure he's not out there. Chuba Hubbard, Tony. Chuba Hubbard looked pretty good last week, and he actually outplayed Deontay Foreman. Do we trust Hubbard over Foreman?
I do now, and mainly because of the catches. I did like how they were looking to him. They were dumping the ball off to him, and he really looked quick. Foreman looks good too, though. But like you were just saying about the last guy, I mean, I think Chuba's their man next year. I think he's the young guy, and they're going to get him the ball the next last few weeks of the season. So my gut, and just by watching it, is I kind of like him over Foreman now.
Yeah. Who mentioned that last week, Chuck? Can you remind me? Who?
Johnny freaking Ball Game.
Oh, that's right. It was me that mentioned that.
He did like Chuba better than Foreman last week, and I wish I'd have listened to him because I could have probably not played Foreman. Rexington Burkhead. Do we have any interest in Rexington Burke? It's Rexy. It's sexy Rexy time, baby. He did this last year in the final couple weeks where he was the man, and he had some big games for fantasy teams that won championships. Do we go with him one more time?
Maybe. I mean, if you're desperate, you could probably do worse, right? I mean, I don't know. Is he going to do much for you? Probably not. He could maybe be a flex. Maybe, I don't know.
My issue
I'm not excited about him.
It's not the same situation as last year, so you got to be careful. He was like the only guy they had left, and he was the feature back the whole game. Right. They have Dare still. Don't forget who's like the pass catching back there now, which used to be Rex's like position. So Dare takes away a lot of the when they're playing catch up. He's going to be in there more, and so I don't see Rex Burkhead being the feature back or anything like he was last year. So be careful.
If you're forced to play Rex Burkhead, then your season's probably gone terribly awry. And my condolences.
Yeah. Okay. In New England, we have two backs to monitor. Ramondre Stevenson's hurt. Damian Harris, we're not sure if he's coming back yet. So it's possible both of these guys could be back this week. It's also possible they're both out. And if they're both out, we saw flashes from Kevin Harris and Pierre Strong Jr. They each had a touchdown. They each had a couple nice runs, a couple nice catches. Which one do we like more, Kevin Harris or Pierre Strong? Johnny.
I like Pierre Strong. I thought that guy was fast. I thought he was like the more explosive and has probably got a higher ceiling. The other guy, though, probably gives you a better floor because I think he's probably going to be more consistent and run more consistently. But I liked Pierre Strong better of the two.
Tony, who you like better?
I like the other dude,
Kevin Harris.
Kevin, I like his catching ability. I mean, Pierre Strong looked awesome. That one play was like 40, 50 yards. He was like, whoa, like lightning. But that was one big play. Yeah. Can he do it again? I don't know. It's Belichick. Makes me nervous, but
that was going to be my next point. I wouldn't play either of them because who the hell knows what Belichick's going to do? There's probably another guy on the bench that's going to get some run.
Yeah.
All right, let's discuss some wide receivers. How about DJ Chark from Detroit? 2 games in a row, he's had pretty good fantasy stats. However, this week they play the Jets. But after this week, Panthers, Bears. Those are your two, the semifinal and your championship round. Panthers and Bears, those are 2 very bad defenses against wide receivers. So is DJ Chark your number 1 option on the waiver wire this week, John?
Yeah. I like him a lot. I mean, I've always liked him. I thought he was good, back in Jacksonville days. I think he's getting comfortable with the offense. You see him more every week. He gets included more and more. Even with the other kid coming back from the injury,
Jameson Williams.
I still think they're going to lean on Chark. I actually don't mind him against the Jets because I think they're going to put sauce on St. Brown as much as humanly possible, and I think Chark's going to get some run in that slot. So I like him a lot this week.
Tony, I got a question for you. What do you think about Elijah Moore? He's getting more snaps lately. Corey Davis, it's probable that he'll be out in a game that they're playing at home versus the Lions this week. Yeah. And if Mike White is okay and he's the quarterback, remember, he was the guy that got Elijah Moore off last year. Mm-hmm. What about taking a shot on him?
Did you just say Mike White got Elijah Moore off?
He did.
This show got weird.
It did.
His name's White. I mean, I like him. Yeah, absolutely. More looks, more snaps, like you said. I don't know if he's going to be a number one, number two. I kind of like him as like a flex, but if you got to have somebody, it's a little less risky than some of the other dudes are out there. And yeah, Mike White's going to throw the ball, so put him in.
Yeah, 10 targets last week.
Yeah. And when I said he got Elijah off last year, Deshaun Watson was jealous.
Hey.
All right, let's talk about Jameson Williams. Caught a 40-something yard touchdown from Goff this week. I believe it was his only catch. He didn't play. He played a little more than he did last week, but he still only played maybe 10, 15% of the snaps. But you see the talent. You see how much separation he gets. It's possible they unleash him this week. I would probably wait one more week before I play him, but you got to pick him up. Got to pick him up and stash him, right, John?
Yeah. At some point, there's not going to be enough balls to go around in Detroit. So I do not play him this week for sure. I think you can stash him, but I would temper my expectations for him for this season. I don't think he's ready.
Okay, that's fair. I want to make sure you guys check the waiver wire for this guy too, because he was hurt a few weeks back and he was really playing well before he got hurt. John, I want you to sound the horn for Mecole Hardman.
Mikola.
Very nice. Tony,
Thanks.
if Mecole Hardman is on the waiver wire, should you scoop him up?
Hell yeah, I would, because I still like the rapport that Juju and Mahomes have, but I kind of saw Mecole have some better catches. Let's just put it that way. A little, he's obviously faster, and it looked like there could be some big plays with that guy. I love Juju. I hope he gets his catches, but I like Mecole. I still can't say his name. Mecole.
Yeah,
I like him kind of better. I have Juju in every league, but
yeah, they're kind of using him like Tyreek Hill Jr., right?
Yeah,
a little bit like Tyreek Hill. Yeah, in that role.
Although a little more possession than I thought they were going to, and so I have some shares of Mecole, and I actually was using him quite a bit there right before he got hurt. I'd started him 3 weeks in a row because he was getting better every week and getting more and more points, double digits every time. I think even one week he had in the 20s. So yeah, I would say get your Mecole in there.
All right, and tight end. I only have one guy. You should be on the waiver wire picking him up if he's there. Chig Okonkwo from Tennessee.
Gesundheit.
Yes, I thank you very much. This guy's a beast. He doesn't play. He plays about half the snaps. But when they target him, he catches the ball, and he's a big target. He's very athletic. Reminds me a little bit of Njoku in Cleveland. So, and Tannehill's really starting to trust this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's on the waiver wire and you need a tight end, go scoop him up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. And they got to throw the ball, man. They got to win.
They do, because their defense.
They need to win bad.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
Starts and sits of the week.
Starts and sits of the week. These are guys that we're going to try to dig a little deeper. We're going to stay outside the top 5, okay, at each position in fantasy football, and try to give you guys at each position that would be our start of the week, okay? And then we're going to tell you some guys that might be ballsy, but you have to sit them this week because they have a bad matchup. So one at each position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Your start of the week and your sit of the week, all right? We're going to start with quarterback. I'm going to start with you, Johnny. Who is your start of the week at quarterback?
We talked about him a little bit earlier in the show. Mike White, if he's healthy, if he's out there playing, I play him. The Lions defense is not great. They're playing better, but they're not great. And Mike White whips the ball around the field. So I like Mike White this week as my surprise outside of the top 5 start.
Detroit is 31st against the pass. So Mike White is an excellent play this week. I like that a lot, John. Tony, who is your start of the week at quarterback?
This one's a little risky, and also I'm losing it here, but it's maybe more of a gut, and that's Matt Ryan.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's been horrible. But after looking at the Vikings defense and what they have given up to QBs the past 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I've watched a couple games where Matt Ryan was terrible and then next week had an above average game. Mm-hmm. So it is a little risky because it's Matt Ryan. But there is there's an upside to it, and there's a possibility that he could put up some points.
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you. All right, my quarterback start of the week is actually not in the top 5, so don't get mad at me. Justin Herbert versus the Titans since week 11, the last 4 weeks. Justin Herbert is the quarterback 2 in fantasy football, John, and this is yet another fantastic matchup. All his receivers are healthy. He's firing on all cylinders. The Titans are very good against the run and awful against the pass. I think this is a huge week for Herbert, maybe his best one yet. And I know I'm not really going out on a limb by saying that because he is quarterback 6 in our league, but he is outside the top 5, John, so don't get mad at me.
Wow.
So
okay. No, I mean, I don't know how you got so ballsy there. What a limb you tiptoed out on. Guys, I don't know if you've heard of a Herbert, but he's going to be good.
Hey, I didn't say sleepers. I just said guys that are outside the top 5. All right. Get off my case, Johnny. You know what, John? So I have Justin Herbert and I have Trevor Lawrence, okay? So you could play either one. So I'm starting Justin Herbert. But who are you sitting at quarterback?
Trevor Lawrence was actually my sit of the week.
That was a tease, folks.
That was he knew. I gave him my list. So they're playing Dallas, and Trevor Lawrence has not had several good games in a row. He's never done that in his career. He's never put together several good games. Yeah, he looked great last week. He's somebody that you could stream towards the end of the season. I would not stream him this week. I would sit him against Dallas's defense.
Okay, even though Houston kind of lit up Dallas's defense last week.
Yeah, and I also think they lit up Dallas's pride, and I think they're going to come out and demolish Jacksonville this week.
Yeah.
All right, Tony, who are you sitting? Who's your sit of the week at quarterback?
This is tough, but I think you guys will agree, man. I think Tua is a huge risk. Huge risk.
Man, it takes some brass balls to sit this guy.
Yeah, I'm scared to, but I don't think I have a choice. And that weather, the past 2 weeks, Tyreek's not right. He's a little banged up. Here's a good poop one just pop on top of my head here because I'm so funny. They are up shit creek without a Waddle. They gotta get the ball to Waddle, dude. He hasn't been seeing the ball as much. So that could be their outs. That could be their out if they get the ball to him. But like you said, there's a lot of speed there, and if it's snowy, cold, whatever, takes away that speed.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad call, though. I actually like that.
This sit for me, the sit of the week at quarterback, is ballsy as well because he's been playing out of his mind. Jared Goff versus at the Jets. The Jets defense has allowed 12 touchdown passes all season, John. And Jared Goff, if you look at his splits, he's great at home and he's bad on the road. So everything points to sitting Jared Goff this week. And I understand he's on fire, his weapons, everything's going well for the Lions. But I just feel like this week is a stop sign. All right, John, we're going to our running back start of the weeks. Who is your running back this week?
So Tony talked about him last week, and the only reason I'm bringing him up is because he was hurt last week. He let a lot of people down in fantasy who were trying to get into the playoffs, but it's Saquon. I actually think Saquon's going to come back with a vengeance this week. I think he's an excellent play. He is my start of the week. I think they got to have him. They got to win the playoffs. Dayball knows that, and I think they're going to go all Saquon all day.
Okay, Tony, who's your running back start of the week?
Another one we talked about. I'm taking my chances with Chuba. I like him. I think the ball's rolling there. Like I said, I think he's going to get more catches than normal. And I think he's going to put together a nice week. So I'm starting him.
Nice.
All right. I'm going to go.
Because
with-
I'm sorry, John. Sorry.
Bam! Did you have something to say?
Again, no, it's all because of John is what I meant to say. The whole thing. All because of you. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Go ahead.
I'm going bam. I'm going bam, bam, bam.
Oh,
Son of a night. This guy's taking over that job very quietly in New York. He is catching passes. He is running the ball. He's in the goal line. He's getting touchdowns. And I like the matchup with the Lions. I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring of a game. And even in a bad matchup against the Bills and bad weather last week, he managed to put up like 20 fantasy points. So I like him against the Lions in this game. I think he'll catch a lot of balls, and he's going to get a touchdown. That is my start of the week.
You said balls.
I did say balls many times.
You did.
John, now we got to sit some guys. Who is your sit of the week at running back?
I mean, I talked about how he could actually still be okay with his quarterback going down, but I would sit Connor this week.
Why would you sit Connor this week?
It's against Denver, and it's in Denver, and Denver's got a good defense. Their offense isn't great, but their defense is a really good defense. They don't have, the quarterback that's going to take the pressure off of that running game. I just sit him. I just don't play him yet this week.
Okay. Tony, who are you sitting this week?
Here's another one we talked about, Kenneth Walker.
Oh,
I'm benching him. Coming back.
That's bad news for Chuck. Chuck wants all Ken Walker all the time.
I got him on 3 teams. 49ers. I'm scared for him. I don't trust it. I'm benching.
It's an awful matchup, and he's coming off the injury. We have no idea if he's 100% healthy. I agree with you. I would sit him. So I have to sit a running back this week, and I'm going to sit a guy, not because Tampa's offense has been terrible, not because Tom Brady's off, not because he's in a timeshare with Leonard Fournette, but because they're playing the Bengals this week. I'm going to sit Rachaad White. The Bengals defense is low-key been fantastic lately. They're shutting down big-time running backs. They're not allowing much in the air as well. And I don't like that matchup for Rachaad White, even if it's in Tampa.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yep.
All right, John, let's go back to some starts of the week at wide receiver. Who you got?
He played really well last week. I just mentioned whether it's Wilson or Rippon. I really like Jerry Jeudy this week. There's nobody left to throw to there. Jerry Jeudy stepped up last week, showed me a little something, and I expect another touchdown.
All right, Jerry Jeudy, 2 weeks in a row, huh, buddy?
Judy.
All right.
Nice.
Tony.
And it's against Arizona. They're just not very good.
That's true. Tony, who are you starting at wide receiver?
I'm choosing a lot of random guys this week to help people get into the playoffs, and I'm going Dotson for the Commanders. Commanders are I'd like to say on fire. They're not quite fire, but they keep winning. And I think they're at home, right? And the Giants haven't been playing too well. And I think they're going to unload that ball, and this is his week. So I'm putting in Jahan Dotson.
Love it.
I
love it. I'm going to go with a guy in New York playing the Lions in their 32nd ranked pass defense. I'm going to start Garrett Wilson, and they're the 32nd ranked defense against wide receivers. So that's why I like Garrett Wilson. I'm going to start him, and if Mike White's playing, it's a fantastic matchup. It doesn't get any better than that. So that's my guy.
It's money.
Who are you sitting at wide receiver, Johnny?
Well, I think both of you guys really love this guy. Former Steeler, current Bear, Clay Stool. You're sitting Claypool this week. I know he's the Bears' number 1 receiver just by default, but he's not worth a stash at all. He's nursing an injury, still learning the playbook. There's no chemistry out there with Fields. I would sit him.
Okay. Tony, who are you sitting at wide receiver?
I'm so sick of this guy. Godwin. Like you said, they're playing the Bengals. Bengals are sneaky good there. He doesn't have a great matchup. I think Julio Bones is a little banged up, but still, they're not throwing the ball well. It doesn't matter what week it is. They're still not getting to Mike Evans. He's still not getting a lot of good passes, and he's not getting a lot of yards after the carry. When he does get a pass, I don't like it. So I'm benching Godwin.
Yeah, the volume's been there. He's getting a lot of targets. He'll catch 8,
They
9
just don't
balls.
mean much. Yeah.
50 yards, though. It's not
Right.
enough in fantasy, to get you over
Yeah, I
the
think
hump.
that's a really good point. He's getting targets, but they're not quality targets. So I think
Yeah.
it's a really good point.
All right. I'm going to sit a guy that's been a top 5 wide receiver the last 4 weeks in fantasy football. They played Thursday night against the Niners. I'm going to bench DK Metcalf. I don't like that matchup for anyone on Seattle. Johnny, I think it's going to be rough sledding for all of them, even Geno. All of them. Lockett, Ken Walker. I don't like that matchup, John.
Yeah, they've been on a little bit of a slide, I think, over this last couple of weeks, too. I think Geno's starting to force the ball a little bit. You're starting to see some of the old Geno Smith.
Yep.
I actually don't mind that call. I think that's probably a good call.
He said as much. He's been too aggressive lately. He even said it. All right, Johnny, let's go and do a tight end start of the week. Who is your guy?
My last sit was a bear. This next start is a bear. Let's go with Cole Kmet as your starter for tight end this week. I like him and Fields have that chemistry going. They're coming off a bye week. I think they're going to scheme some things for him. Get your Cole Kmet into the lineup this week.
I like that. I like it a lot. All right, Tony, who are you starting at tight end this week?
Again, somebody we already talked about, but Okonkwo. Okonkwo in Tennessee. I'm loving that guy right now, man. At one point, I had to look him up. I was like, is this a wide receiver? You're right. He does kind of look like Njoku. Really liking that matchup. And I don't know what's going on with Burks, but he's definitely I think he's still in that protocol.
Yeah.
So
I love it. I love the start, and I would put him in.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing too, they're playing against the Chargers, and if you trust Chuck, you know that he's your start of the week quarterback on a limb there, Herbert. So you know that they're going to throw a lot. The Chargers are. So Tennessee's going to have to throw to keep up with them. They're going to have to rely on Henry. I like that call. It's a really good call.
All right, Johnny. Well, you want to talk about the Chargers more? Let's talk about the freaking Chargers then. My start of the week is Gerald Everett. You know why, Johnny? Because they're playing the Titans at home. And you know what? Evan Ingram just dropped 50 freaking fantasy points on the Titans last week. So what do you think Gerald Everett's going to do? That's why.
He'll do something.
Yeah. Your luck. He's going to get you exactly 13 points. Congratulations.
I'll take 13 points from a tight end. That's a
actually, that's not bad for a tight end.
It's a great week.
Yeah.
All right. We gotta do our sits real quick, John. Who are you sitting at tight end this week?
How about the aforementioned Evan Ingram? Because if you think that guy's going to get 50 points again, you're crazy. They're playing against Dallas's defense. No, don't sit ever. Ingram hasn't scored 50 points the entire season, and he put him up in one game. I mean, just stop. There's no way.
In 1 week, he went from outside the top 10 to now he's 4th overall.
He's 4th. Yes.
Ridiculous. All right, Tony, who are you sitting at tight end?
I'm going George Kittle. I know everybody's like, Debo's hurt and Purdy needs a tight end and so on and so forth. But I don't trust it for this week, maybe for the rest of the season, but not this week. Seattle, they don't give up a lot of points at tight ends. And like I said earlier, I think he's going to be dumping it to Christian McCaffrey most of the game. That's my feeling.
Good call.
All right, and my tight end sit of the week is Mark Andrews, tight end 2 in fantasy football because he hasn't done jack shit lately. His quarterback situation is dicey at the moment. We know Lamar's out. Huntley's questionable. It's possible that quarterback Anthony Brown might start against the Browns. I don't like it. I'm not playing Mark Andrews. The Ravens have become very run heavy, and it's not good for Mark Andrews. So I'm going to go elsewhere. I'm going to start Gerald
That had to
Everett.
hurt a little bit, though, didn't it?
Everett.
Yeah, because I made a nice trade for him, and he just hasn't done shit for me, really.
Yeah.
All right. Streams of the week. This is for you folks out there that like to stream your quarterbacks and your defenses. We're each going to pick one quarterback and one defense that we think is a great stream this week for you. Okay? All right, John, who's your stream of the week at quarterback?
There wasn't a bunch of choices. I'm going to say that. I'm going to start that out with that. You mentioned he was your sit, but I like Jared Goff. I like him for the rest of the season. Like I would pick that guy up. He's hot. He's playing with more confidence. He said he likes this offense. He's had more fun than he's ever had in the NFL. He's got weapons galore coming out of his yin yang. I mean, he's got 2 great running backs, 3 great wide receivers, another one coming up. I like Jared Goff as a possibility, even against the Jets. I know the Jets defense is fantastic, but they're due for a letdown, and I think the Lions are on a roll that we've not seen in a really long time from a team like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of disagree with you on that one. From Office Space, I don't like that matchup. I think it's gonna be brutal, and I've already told you Goff's splits are bad on the road versus home, so I'm just gonna say
Right.
Tony.
Hey, next week I want you to look for me. I'll be the one saying I told you so.
Okay, nice.
All right.
Tony, who are you streaming at quarterback?
I am streaming Andy Dalton. I like his matchup. I like his matchup a lot. Again, end of the season, they need to win. They need to win. They need to go off the sheet, which isn't going to happen. But I think he's going to put up points this week. I'm starting Andy Dalton.
And who are they playing?
Atlanta.
Atlanta's terrible against the pass. Good matchup. I'm going to go Mike White against the Lions. I've already talked about it. I love that's the 32nd best or worst defense against the pass. So I like that matchup. I think it's a shootout somewhat, and I like Mike White very much. So I'm streaming him this week if he plays. All right, John, we need to do some defenses. Who are you streaming a defense this week?
I'm streaming the Saints this week because of the Atlanta Falcons as their guy. They got a rookie quarterback coming in. They've got an offense that is devoid of talent. Get your Saints defense in there. Pick them up and get them in.
All right, Tony, who are you starting as your defense this week?
This is risky, but I'm going with what they say, the hot hand, even though it's a defense. I am actually going to go with the Lions defense. I know it's risky, but they are played with such heart. They'll give up yards, but I think they are going to create turnovers. And they've been stopping the hell out of the run. They've been really good against the run. So is it risky? Yeah, some people are going to laugh at this. Maybe take it with a grain of salt. So it's a gut feeling, but the Lions are going to have good numbers this week.
Listen, they're streamers for a reason. They're not on people's team right now. They're streamers for a reason, right? Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep going, like riding the wave, and play defenses that play the Houston Texans. So I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs because the Houston Texans love to give up, defensive touchdowns to the other team. Pick sixes, fumbles, whatever it takes. Sure. I like this matchup, even though Houston kind of peed all over the Cowboys last week. I feel like that was an anomaly. It's just like one of those glitches in the Matrix. I think this week they get hammered. They got no Pierce, no Cooks, no Nico Collins, and that means the Kansas City Chiefs are going to allow no points, and the Texans are going to get slammed. We'll see. All right.
Burning questions.
Moving on, I have really quick 2 burning questions for you guys. Just 2. Keep it short and sweet.
Take penicillin.
All right. Here.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you said burning question, I'm sorry. That was a different.
Yeah.
My bad.
We're going to take care of that one too. You know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except syphilis.
Nice.
All right. Tua Tagovailoa. What I want to know is, so we've seen what the 49ers and Chargers did over the past 2 weeks to Tua. They took away the crossing patterns and made him throw it deep. They took away Waddle. Dolphins offense looks suddenly vulnerable heading into a matchup with the Bills and bad weather and all that. We've talked about it. The Bills allow the 5th fewest fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, and they've only given up more than 20 points just twice in 9 games when Jordan Poyer was healthy. But my question is, has the NFL figured out how to kind of stop Tua Tagovailoa, or at least contain him? Or is this just a temporary glitch in the Matrix? John, I want to hear your opinion.
I think it's a glitch in the Matrix. I mean, listen, we were talking about the Bills not doing great a couple of weeks ago, had a couple of bad games, and then they exploded too. I think that Tua's been in the league for a long time. If they were going to figure out Tua, they would have already figured him out by now. I think you're right. I think they did take away some crossing patterns, but Tua was Tua's biggest enemy. Tua needs to figure out Tua. He was overthrowing his people. He was not doing well. So no, I think it's a glitch. I think he'll be back. Not this week because it's in Buffalo and in the snow, but I do think he'll be back toward the end of the season.
Okay, Tony, how do you feel about it?
I feel similar. I still think the weather is a huge factor with him, and I think he will mature and the team will get used to it. And I think they have been exposed a little bit, but between the coach and the talent, they will figure it out, and they got to figure it out quick, but they will figure it out, and I think that they'll be fine.
Okay. All right. My second question. Can San Francisco win the Super Bowl with a third-string quarterback, an injured Debo, an oft-injured McCaffrey having to carry the load just to get him into the playoffs, all while Eli Mitchell is out? Can the Niners still win the Super Bowl, John?
Yes. I like Shanahan's system. I really think you can plug in any quarterback. I mean, he's proven it. Look at the people he had to plug in last year and the years before. He's had so many injuries and quarterbacks go down, and yet the 49ers just keep winning. This year, they've got talent. That defense, when you've got defense in a running game, you can go win a Super Bowl. Ask the Baltimore Ravens about it. I like the 49ers. I still think they're one of my favorite teams to go from the NFC.
Tony, can they win it?
Yeah, they can. I'm not saying I'm real confident with it, but they can. We know the old saying that defenses win games, they win championships, and we've seen Super Bowl teams that can barely complete a pass, Trent Dilfer, and then the defense steps up and wins the game. So they can win.
I'm gonna say no, they cannot. Not with. I know Brock Purdy's been good. He's had good matchups so far, and things are going real smooth for him. But you know, the playoffs, things get really tight. The weather's bad. Is he gonna be able to go up against these powerhouse teams and do the same thing without Deebo Samuel healthy? Because Deebo's not going to be 100% the rest of the season, including the playoffs. I just don't think he can do it. There's too many obstacles to overcome here. Too many injuries to that team. George Kittle's not George Kittle anymore. I just don't see it, guys. You need to be on all cylinders to win a Super Bowl. I don't think it's happening. That's just my opinion.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
Next week, look for Tony. He'll be the one of the poop hat waiting to say, I told you so.
I've had just about enough of the, hit me up next week and I'll be the guy in the back telling you I told you so.
I know. It's funny, though. Come on. That's fun.
All right.
League winners.
League winners, our final segment. This will be real quick. So we talked about this before the season started, like doing things in the draft that win you the league, that are goes against the consensus, right? And one of the things we did, John and I both, we each had the top 2 picks in our draft, and consensus says you take, Jonathan Taylor, and I said no, I'm not taking Jonathan Taylor. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. And then you said I'm not taking Jonathan Taylor, and I'm not taking Cooper Kupp. I'm taking Justin Jefferson. And boy, did that pay off. Those were the correct decisions. So, league winners. Now, for the final 3 weeks of your fantasy season in the playoffs, we're gonna each name one guy that we think is, if he's on your roster, he will be a league winner for you going down the stretch. It could be anyone you want. John, I'm gonna start with you. Who is your league winner in these final 3 weeks of the fantasy head-to-head season?
I think if you picked up the Jets running back Bam Knight, I think you made an awfully wise decision. I think that guy, even with Michael Carter coming back, he still had the lion's share of the carries, still looked much better than Carter. And that Jets, they like to run, and Zonovan looked fantastic. So I think he's if you made that pickup, I think you could have a league winner right there.
If you went on the waiver wire and got Bam Knight, Johnny says he's going to bring you home a championship. Boom. Congratulations. Boom.
You're welcome.
Bam. Bam.
Oh, see, because his name's Bam.
Tony, who is your league winner?
Hopefully you guys pick this guy up. Christian Watson. He's a big playmaker. And when you get a team such as Green Bay that has been failing, they're just going to be looking for the big play, and every defense that faces them is going to be watch the run game. Aaron Rodgers isn't the same. Packers suck, and they're going to be throwing the ball downfield to Christian Watson. Get that guy to help you get through the playoffs.
And they have nothing to play for either, so it's loosey-goosey. They're probably going to get Jordan Love some run here pretty quick after after Rodgers is officially eliminated from the playoffs, he's probably going to sit. And we saw what Love can do. He likes to throw down the field, and that's good for Christian Watson. So I like that. I like that a lot.
We love Love on the show.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
know what Love can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about how I took Christian McCaffrey over, Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor's been a letdown. He's not even a top 10 running back. But if you held on to him all throughout the season and made it to the playoffs, congratulations, because he is your league winner. Because, Johnny, look at his schedule. At the Vikings this week, they are the 20th ranked defense against the running backs versus the Chargers, 29th against the run. At the Giants, 24th against the run. And the final game of the year, if you play all 18 weeks, they play the Texans, the worst defense against the run. Jonathan Taylor is going to bring you home a championship, and all will be well.
And we'll end up in the top 5. All right.
He might.
He
might.
Yeah. With that ending, he could actually end in the top 5.
We'll see.
It's gross.
All right, guys. It's go time. It's playoff time. It is your wild card round. I'm lucky enough to have a bye this week. John, are you in the playoffs in any of your leagues?
Yeah, I'm in the playoffs in one of my leagues.
Okay.
Actually, two of my leagues. So, yeah.
Playing this week? You don't have a bye? You playing this
I
week?
have no buys. No, I was lucky to squeak into both playoffs, actually.
And Tony, I know you're in a couple leagues that you made the playoffs. And do you have any buys, or are you just playing this week?
Yeah, I have one bye. That team I was talking about earlier in the work league. So kind of looking.
All right. All right. I'm wishing everyone that plays this week good luck. Beat your opponent. Get into the next round. Do whatever you can for this week. Concentrate on this week only. Don't look ahead yet, because if you look ahead, your opponent's going to stomp you this week and you're going to be out. So just win this week, baby. Just win. Get
Play
to
your
the
horses.
next round. And then when you win, come back and see us next week, because we do this every week, Johnny. So hit that like button, subscribe, comment, baby. Those, we'd like some comments. What kind of segments you guys would like to see, right, Tony?
Yeah, that's most important to me anyway. Absolutely.
All right. I want to thank Johnny Ballgame.
Right on. Hey, Chuck, it was fun having you host again, buddy. I missed it.
Appreciate you, John, and thank you for covering for me for the last month.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sir Poops a lot.
You guys are welcome. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it was great having me. Thank you. Great having me.
Toilet Talk was
It was
fantastic again this week, guys. I couldn't stop laughing. Funny stuff.
Nice.
Funny stuff. If you like funny stuff, guys, make sure you hit us with a comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Come back next week. We'll be here for you for the semifinals of your playoffs. We'll see you next week, Johnny. Tony, aloha.
Thanks, Chuck.
Good luck, everybody. Peace out, Reed. Thanks, Chuck.